Hi everybody, we are Tanshibantu here. Today, let's listen to this lady. This is Lillian Mutambo. She is aspiring MP for Munali constituency on the UPND ticket. And I wanted to actually bounce off her message. I think her message is very appropriate and very timely for Zambians in general. So today I wanted to just bounce off her with some comments. I want to validate what she's saying, and I want to get my fellow Zambians to understand the mindset that she's bringing. This is a different mindset. This is the mindset we need in leaders. I always talk about Savage Chimba, the UPP president, the mindset that he has. This is a like mindset. So, without wasting too much time, I want us to listen to what she has to say.
Hi everyone, this is Lillian Mutambo, aspiring Member of Parliament for Monali constituency. Thank you so much for tuning onto my live broadcast here on my Facebook page, Honorable Lillian Mutambo, Monali constituency. I just want to talk about this because it really made me laugh when actually I heard about it. But I was trying to see the reaction of people when I posted it, because I've been thinking about it for the past days. Like, why would somebody talk about me this way? And I also want to set a record straight about life in the diaspora and the jobs we do and the things we do in order for us to survive. Now, I have seen that in PF, mocking people who live in the diaspora is normal. We've seen Bowman Losambo mock us in the diaspora. He said that people live in America and all they do is clean toilets. And majority of people who live in the diaspora were offended because at the end of the day, Bowman Losambo was just an MMD cadre that got lucky and found himself becoming an area member of parliament of Kabushi, and now he's a minister of Lusaka.
Let's hold it right there. I want everybody to understand this, that Zambians in the diaspora are therefore not many of them not because they don't love their country, not because they don't love Zambia. Zambians in the diaspora, many of them are there because Zambia has failed to sustain them. And many of the Zambians in the diaspora are very successful people, extremely successful, very educated people. They are teaching, they're professors, they're doctors, they are people of high caliber, engineers and scientists. They're out there. Do you know why they're out in the diaspora? They're out in the diaspora because Zambia cannot embrace them. That's a very sad thing to say. It's a very sad thing for me to say. Zambia fails to embrace its citizens from their diaspora. It has no capacity to reabsorb them as contributors to Zambia. It's very, very sad. The only way that people in the diaspora, citizens in the diaspora, can get to return to Zambia is if they come to Zambia and grow their own business. Grow their own business and do something for themselves without having to work for anybody. Even that can be a very difficult feat, because of the culture ya Kuliamo. Everybody wants to benefit off of these people. So you find that those that want to return to Zambia to make a difference are typically not accepted because they come with a mentality that is different. What they represent is not conducive to the culture ya Kuliamo. And because of that, the system rejects them. So you find a person that has gained so much knowledge overseas, and they come to Zambia, they join the government, they want to contribute in a professional manner, they fail. Because their ethics and their sense of accountability that they have learned, those attributes that have grown the developed world to what it is, are rejected by Zambians. This is not a joke. This is a very serious matter. You cannot function where you know money is missing without asking questions. If you ask questions, you'll be headed. You become an enemy. You become an enemy of the institution. You become an enemy of those above you. Nobody likes you. Your mentality is out of line. You are not there to change the status quo. When the country begs for such minds. So I just want you to think about, I just wanted to stop that and make that comment. All right, let's listen to Lillian Mutambo a little more here. Keep in mind, Lillian Mutambo was in the UK for 16 years, and she just came back to Zambia with a huge advantage for her, though. She has a huge following, a huge platform for her voice. It's not that easy for anybody who doesn't have such a platform. She is one of a kind, and she has a voice, and her voice can be heard. And it's interesting to watch her. All right, let's listen some more.
And he talked about how Lusaka was like Dubai. And I did a video showing London when I was in London a few months ago. It was just, satire, like a joke, just mocking the whole concept of Bowman saying Lusaka is like Dubai. I said, look, this is London. London is beautiful. You can't compare Lusaka to just, mini London. And then I thought, okay, it's ended there. I've been going through all the wards of Monali constituency. I've done 5 wards so far, 5 weeks continuously, no day off, meaning 6 days a week. So I started with Mutendere, then I went to Kalikiliki, and then I did a video talking about how PF cadres were sent to attack me. Now, yesterday I did a video which is on UPND Zambian youths. You can see what we're talking about there. I'll share it on my page as well, where a young man was attacked because he was wearing a t-shirt, a red t-shirt written HH, but it wasn't even Hakainde Hichilema, it was just Holly Hansen or something like that. And the young man was attacked. So I talked about that. Now, I've been to Chainda ward, I've been to Chakunkula ward, and my week in Monali ward ended yesterday. And I thought I should share this because I found it really offensive as well. I know some of you defend the current MP, but as you saw during the blunt talk, me and the young man, we've never met each other, but we're saying the same points. She has failed Monali constituency, that's just the truth. And she needs to allow the young people to take over Monali constituency. She has failed to provide empowerment for people. She's failed to do drainages. She's failed to even build clinics or hospitals. There's no clinic in Kalikiliki. So during our debate, we talked about all those things, and it's more or less like we had planned to say the same things, but we have never even met before. So was it a few days ago, she had a meeting. She had a meeting at Monali Secondary School, and those of you who've heard about this meeting, you will concur with what I'm saying. And during her meeting, she talked about me. And she was expressing herself to say, how can you people vote for someone who was sweeping the streets of London and Alessandra Bakote? I'll say it in Bemba. Because the reason why I'm saying it Muchibemba, she were offended because it's a very offensive statement. Na mwabena Zambia, tumwasala shanu muntu, uwale sambi kote wale piangama streets ya London, ero ese kuno, ati ese abe MP mono, ndei minina next year. I have more than 20 witnesses. Now, when I was told this, one person mentioned this to me. And then during, my meetings in Monali Ward, I was just telling them to say, look, me, I have a passion, working for all age groups, even the elderly. I even requested Monali Ward to arrange for me to meet elderly people in Monali Ward. Yesterday, Saturday was my visitation day where I was taking a few hampers there, mili meal and, cooking and things like that, and just have a chat with them. Because that's what social workers do in Britain. I don't know about social workers here, but in Britain, social workers, they go and meet people, speak to them one-on-one, listen to their cries, their pleas and everything. So I did that yesterday. And the statement that one of the women made, it touched me. She said, we have had aspiring candidates who have been through Monali constituency, even during Mazoka's time. There's never been an aspiring candidate that has requested to meet elderly people. That was my request. Because for me, those people matter.
Make a comment here. Fellow citizens, one of the most, paramount creeds, one of the most important things that defines a society is how it treats its vulnerable citizenry. How you treat the disabled, how you treat the mentally ill, how you treat the helpless, the old, the senior citizens, the old. And you could agree with me that in our country, umuntu Ishilu is not a human being. He is not treated with any shred of decency. Muntu ngakota mano yala yachepa wabulira kubwana. The society looks down upon the feeble, the weak, the mentally ill, the disabled. If you want to define what development is, you have to start to look at these things. A society that has become civilized to the extent that it values the lives of these people is a developed society. That's part of development. When you start looking at every life as significant, as important, the country is developing. You can measure that. You can count that as one of the measures of development. It is not only looking to see that the quality of life of every citizen is taken care of, that every child has an education, every child's future, at least with the best attempts, the government does what it's supposed to do. The government does what its people have instituted it for. It is how it looks not the government. Are we as a society, through the institution of government, which is our institution, because we have decided that some of these things are not right in society. Is it right for society to treat certain citizens as having no value? Is it right? Once society decides that moral question, then if as a society you decide that the aged, the old, the feeble and old are no longer relevant to society, that's how constitutions are made. Constitutions represent the wishes of society, what society wants, what society stands for, what offends society, and what is good for society. If society in Zambia, our society says old people are disposable, then you can put it in the constitution. And when somebody gets to the age of 75 or 80, no government funding shall go to them. Do you understand what I'm saying? If somebody is mentally ill, government shall not waste any money. And by when I say government, you have to understand it in a big context, in a huge context. When I say government, I am saying what society has decided to do. Because what government does is a reflection of the will of the people. Government is instituted by the people. A collection of morals and values of a society reflected within the laws, within the charter of the land, which is further transcended and which is manifested through the institution of government. You understand? That's how it works. A government doesn't just come from somewhere. It's society. It's a reflection of society. So I'll tell you more. I'll tell you some more about that. Some more about that, so you can understand what our individual responsibilities can be, stemming from that understanding of basic principle of how a society functions. And let me go. Let me listen. Let's listen to
regardless of someone's disability today. You know, I've seen people who were walking well, everything was fine. Snap, they have cancer. They need support. And then the member of parliament has the audacity to mock the fact that it is a disgrace. Because if Zambia had opportunities for people, there's no way people would be going to the diaspora, working there and living there. You should be ashamed as an MP that you have failed to empower people. I asked during the meeting that I had with Monali Ward people, about 2 or 3 branches, on Friday, I asked them, I offered them, said, look, if I offer you that I'll collect passports for each and every one of you, and I'm going to send you to South Africa, would you deny? Everybody was raising their hands. In fact, honorable, I want to go. So if somebody is working in the diaspora, not stealing, and then you mock them, and yet the current government, we've heard of loads of corruption. You're talking about somebody who's working hard, paying their bills in order to support people in Africa, and then you mock them.
Let me stop there and make another comment. A key comment. She said, I want to emphasize what she said. She says that is shameful. I believe she said that's disgraceful. That's what she said. From what I was just telling you about society, there's our Zambian society. What is the nature of our Zambian society? Is our society one which will take your child because your child is mentally ill or develops a mental illness and dispose of that child? Forget about me. Let's not waste any resources on this child. Is our society one that is going to say, you are old now, we don't need to waste time on you? Is our society one that will let old people die in disgrace? Die mulusasa? What kind of society are we? So, and if you can answer that question, guys, this is very serious talk. I know that my YouTube channel doesn't play a lot of flashy things and crazy stuff like that, but this is very serious stuff to talk about. If you are very serious about understanding our society and what it should be, this is the stuff to think about. What kind of society are we? And in answering that question, how do we translate who we want to be, that which we want to be, into the Charter of the Land, a reflection of who we are in the Constitution, and in how we select our leaders? If this leader, Ms. Nkanduluo, laughs, derides at the fact that somebody was taking care of the elderly, who in Zambia does she want to be taking care of the elderly? Does she support anybody in Zambia taking care of the elderly? If nobody in Zambia takes care of the elderly, what kind of society are we going to be? Or what kind of society are we? This requires a serious introspection and a serious consideration of what type of people we have in government. Okay, we proceed. I don't think I'm going to go through the entire entire discourse here. It's kind of a little bit too long, but I did want to make some pertinent comments here so I can give context and a lot of validation to this young lady's discourse, because she may not be perfect, but what she's saying here is extremely important for every Zambian to understand, because it goes to the core of the definition of our society, what it is, what service is, what saving others is. There's a lot to learn from what she's saying right now.
It is a disgrace. Now, so she made that statement about me, and I didn't know about it. One person told me, the person said it vaguely. So I was talking about this, just generally talking that, I have a passion working with elderly people, vulnerable people, disabled, all, And then somebody raised their hand. Banami kambani pone kumitingi. Another one said, chachendi banakamba. Banakamba. And that's when somebody stood up and said that that's what she had said. Now the question I'm asking is, what type of campaign message is that? That you say, imwemwe na Zambia, timwasala shano umuntu, uwale kiri na ma streets ya London, akaiche. Kaisa no kwisati kese kemine yabo MP na mwaka pera. Na inende iminina. Madam, you are 65. You should be at home looking after your grandchildren. Retirement age should be at 65. You shouldn't be fighting for a position that most young people are looking for. Who have energy, they drive, have passion to look after people, and then you'll be mocking. So the question I'm asking, do you look after the elderly people in the community in Zambia? No. It's clear. Because those elderly people, they are human beings. They were once energetic. One of the women I met about 2 women and 2 men. One of the women I met was very energetic politically. And she said, you remind me of Mazoka. This is how he was. He would come meet people. she just said, you remind me of him. And another lady said, Mwana Wanga, I'm impressed with all this. I cannot pretend to be who I'm not. Looking after elderly people, I can do it 2,000 times, even today. Even today, I can do it.
I'm sorry, my mic was off here. That's a very powerful statement she made there about taking care of the elderly. What kind of society do we want to be? Do we want to be a society of indifference to the helpless? Who do we want to be?
Because I know the reward is in giving somebody an end of life which has dignity. And that's why I do those jobs. I wash them. Ndabasambika, nabafrika, nabasuba mafuta. If it means turning them more bed because bambibali are bedridden, I do it. And I can do it even if I'm an area member of parliament, I'll still be doing it. Because that person lived a life. And just because they are ill, we cannot say, now Kotanomba, we don't want you, we don't need to look after you. Very soon, she'll be 70. She will need care. Is she going to mock the person who needs to care for them? That's a derogatory statement. The people that we look after in Britain are people who have paid service to the country. Some of them were police officers. I've met a lady who was a police officer. I've met doctors. I've met nurses, teachers, lawyers, judges, people who worked in the courtroom. You look at their images. So why should I not look after them? I will look after them. And it's not about the money. It's about the heart. So
Social security. It seems like just a mere phrase to talk about in Zambia. Social security, that's what it is. To care for those that cannot care for themselves. To care for those that have saved the country. To care for those that have worked and helped the country in their whatever capacities they have. Social security demands a humanity, a certain humanity on the part of each citizen. Such humanity that she's expressing, I am really moved. That such humanity is what every citizen should covet. We should all covet such humanity. We should be, my brother's keeper. That's what she's talking about here. If Zambia is to be a society that you can be proud of, that your posterity can be proud of, these are the kind of values that we need to cherish, that we need. We have to have a certain direction. We are losing who we are. In the villages long ago, they used to care for old people. Old people were wise. old people were, respected for their wisdom. Today, we could care less about the elderly. A person who have been lishilo, they just move around. They could be dead at any point. And it is not anybody's fault that they were born that way. But society chooses not to take care of those people. So when she's be talking about how they're taken care of in the Western world, in the United States, in the UK, Australia, all these Western countries, it's one of the defining delineations between third world and first world. It is. It truly is. Let me continue here just a little bit longer.
If I can look after those people who are not even my family, what about my fellow Zambians? I can. Mm-hmm. And that is why I am the best MP for Monali constituency. Because you have clearly said it yourself to say, Ngoyo Muntu ale Kilinama streets of London. I've read some of the comments from people where people are saying, the streets of London and Lusaka you cannot compare. And by the way, I did not clean streets, I cleaned schools. I cleaned courtrooms. I cleaned different places. And it is fulfilling to get paid £100 per day for cleaning. How much can somebody who works in ShopRite earn per day? How much? 50 kwacha? How much? At the end of the month, they don't get up to even 3,000 kwacha. But I was getting 2,400 kwacha a day. I'd rather do that. Because at the end of the day, I'm not stealing from anyone's account. We've seen Boman Lusambo mock Zambians and say, I use 2 million kwacha. Well, the empowerment that I'm doing presently is not stolen money from any government. It's money that I've worked hard for, and I'm still working hard for through my YouTube channel. And well-wishers from the diaspora. Somebody from the diaspora commented, Lily, it's nice that we, the diaspora people, would want to help, but Zambians don't like people in the diaspora. I said, no. It's people like Boman Lusambo that mock people in the diaspora. It's only in Zambia that you see people mock people who live abroad that are working there, doing whatever. Now look, our own government has failed to even empower the youths to have a contract between Qatar, Dubai, and Zambia. Do you know there is that availability for a Zambian to be working in Dubai 6 months, come back, invest home? They get paid about $5,000 a month. Now, the government of Kenya has done that. If you go to Dubai International Airport, you will find that the people who are working there are people from Kenya, speaking Kiswahili. Even people who work in McDonald's there are from Uganda. Why? Because they have agencies that offer those opportunities. Now, will you mock these people to say, oh, you're serving in McDonald's? Excuse me? I will serve in McDonald's if I'm going to get paid $5,000 a month. Without a doubt, I will do it. So you're mocking me as an MP is a disgrace. It's shameful. Because you could have even called me as a mother and say, oh, Mwana Wandi, you are working with the elderly people. Can you teach me how I can also work with elderly people?
That's right.
The diaspora teaches you one thing. There's nothing like mommy, uncle, auntie, whoever. Everybody works for their money. My son is 16 and he was working in a restaurant. 16. He bought himself an iPhone. He bought himself PlayStation. He bought himself a TV. Now, if we change the mindset of people in Zambia to say, if you work hard, any job, it doesn't matter. You will earn a living and you can also start a business. And you can also get loans from the bank. And you can also get empowerments that, you can prove that you can pay back. Then do it.
She just said something very important. Every job is important. If there's nobody to clean, then you have filth all over the place. If there is no one to take care of the elderly, then you have elderly dying in disgrace. If there is no one to sweep the streets, If you go, it will be all over the place. This is the case in our country. Guys, this is very simple. It is what we have in our country. There's nobody cleaning drainages. There's nobody cleaning sewers. Nobody cleaning anything. And because nobody's cleaning anything, everywhere looks like a dumpster. Every place you look looks like a dumpster. So everyone wants to throw anything there. If a place is extremely clean, trust me, you will think twice before you throw anything there. You are not going to throw anything down when it's clean. That's how you begin to change the people's mindset. A clean environment begins to infuse a new mentality, a new mindset in people. I can't throw something here. I'd rather put it in my pocket and take it to the trash bin. That's what happens. Just listen a little bit longer.
But an MP is mocking the jobs that people, because if you mock me, you're mocking everybody in the diaspora that clean. Yes, we clean the streets of London. What about our late president, Mr. Michael Chilufya Sata? Wasn't he working as a train cleaner? The moment he was declared president in Zambia, it was all over the newspapers, the metro newspapers. Train cleaner, Victoria Station train cleaner becomes president of Zambia. Now, he gave you the job you have today. A cleaner who was once a cleaner of Britain has given you the job you have today. Because without him learning the ropes of the diaspora, he wouldn't have been this determined for him to reach up to presidency. That's why he never gave up. And
the diaspora gives you a different perspective on life. Especially. Maybe on life is different, because how you look at life is specific to every culture, but it gives you a different perspective of what life people can have. Because in Zambia we are kind of running the country like a village, but we have a government that is not a village government. That's we have a government that is a Western style government, which needs to be run like a Western style government. But we also have traditional mentalities that have impoverished that system of government. You see what I'm saying? In order to run our government efficiently, effectively, to deliver that which the people deserve, to deliver the services to the people that they deserve, efficiently managing the resources of the vast resources of our country, it requires that the government be run with the mindset of those that developed this system of government. Those people that developed this system of government are in the West. They are in the West. The people that are running governments in the Western world, they developed this thing. So exposure in this situation means you have lived in these people's, where these people are, and you have learned and transformed your mind in a manner that aligns with the running of that government. When you look at something, the way they do things, how do they manage to do it that way? If you live in the diaspora for any considerable amount of time, you begin to think differently. You begin to see things differently. You realize that many of our citizens do not know what is good for them. That sounds very sad. But many of our citizens do not know what is good for them. They just do not know what is good for them. Because they are still thinking in traditional terms. And I'm not by any means suggesting that you abandon traditional values. No. I am just saying that those that have realized that this is the situation have taken advantage of it and further impoverished, enriched themselves at the expense of those innocent citizens, amassed the wealth unto themselves at the expense of those citizens. And they have made sure that those citizens remain poor. They only make sure that their traditional sentiments are appealed to. That's all. Because those citizens are made to believe that that is how they are supposed to live. They are supposed to live traditional lives, thatched houses, and fetching water or something. And those that get out of there, out of the village life, which can be very nice too, if they have food every day and everything, which they can. If the resources of the country were well managed, they can manage to have electricity there, right there in the village. Those that are away, they come to the compounds, the slums of Lusaka, the slums of Kidwe, the slums of Ndoro. And they're there, content that that's the life they are supposed to live. They vote for politicians who tell them nothing. Any politician who tells them something meaningful, they don't understand it. They do not understand what transformative leadership is. What is it to them? Those are just words. But what they understand is nkamulopola. Neine election yeisa nkamulopola. That they understand. That they understand. That will get them on their feet. That will get them on their feet. It's very sad. Very, very sad.
Then you mock people in the diaspora. You mock me and use me as a campaign message. Tumwasala shanu mwaichi. Uwale kala kubasungu wale pianga muma streets ya basungu. And by the way, majority of the people she was speaking to, they work as maids. And you are now mocking those maids to say, you are cleaners, you are nothing. Getting paid in pounds and kwacha, there's a big difference. You get paid £1 is 25 kwacha. People are paid little money. So that's what I wanted to say. And the mindset that I want every Zambian to learn now, and that's why I've started these empowerments. These are proposals from your area, Madam MP. If you have done a good job, why have people written me all these proposals? These are proposals of just Monali work. More and more of these proposals from people in Monali constituency. The poverty is clear. If you've done a good job, you wouldn't be looking for faults in people who are trying to stand and take over the position of Member of Parliament. I respect you. You've done your time. Now give chance to the young people.
That's it. You have to step aside. You have been in government for 30 years. What is it about you that affords you the monopoly on leadership? What difference have you made in the lives of the people? And you, the people, what is it that you see in these people that make you continue to put them in positions of leadership, continuously voting for them? What do these people do for you? Don't you think you deserve better? What is it? Muchinji, I'm going to tell you something. This is not about mere respect. Respect for the elders is okay. But Your lives right now, the lives of every Zambian citizen, is not about respect. Can the decisions, life-changing decisions, cannot be reduced to a matter of respect. I want you to understand that, to understand me really well. You cannot reduce life-changing decisions to a matter of respect, to a question of respect. Oh, this person is too young. This person is too young. She can't be qualified because she's too young. We need to refer Bakalamba. You are thinking with a village mentality. Bakalamba, umwachafuire kutsindika Bakalamba. Umukalamba eufiyoko pachifurechi. Nangu umukalamba takweti amani. But you are thinking with a village mentality. It used to work in 1925, 1960. Oh yes, it used to work. Oh, we were in a village where everybody had their own farm. This is no longer the case. We are running a Western style government. Life and life-changing decisions cannot be reduced to a question of respect. Pantu ndi mukalamba te tumuvotere mwachi. Ndi mukalamba ine te tumuvotere yakaichaka. Neni ndi mnine mwachi kafuma fe afsamwe mukavotere. No. This is a matter now of qualification, a matter of drive, a matter of determination, a matter of heart, a matter of humanity. You must choose the person that is going to save you within the context of this Western style government and deliver to you what is due to you, the citizens. What is due to all of us, the citizens of Zambia. You cannot reduce, again I'll say it, you cannot reduce decisions of life-changing decisions to a question of respect. No, is of age. No, abakalambi bafujo kubaba. Umachiti jabe yompi, bafujo kubaba kalamba. You are hurting yourself by thinking that way. You are seriously hurting yourself. You are hurting yourself and your children by thinking that way. You cannot afford to think that way. Let me just put it that way. You cannot afford, fellow Zambians, we cannot afford to think that way. We just cannot. It's a distraction. It's detrimental. It's a deleterious way of thinking. It's deleterious to our society. It is. It is time that we changed our way of thinking. I've said it before. Change will only come when we change. That's what I mean. When we change, change will come. If we don't change, change will not come.
There is no way people, you could be now offering them opportunities of empowerment now in 2020, a few months before the election. You're offering them empowerment of chickens. And by the way, I've told them to come to your meetings, collect the chickens, eat the chickens, and they won't vote for you. Because you don't deserve a position as a member of parliament. A member of parliament should have the heart for people. You cannot go for meetings, for funerals, and you're sitting in the car, and you don't want to go at the level of the people. The same people, they put you there. I am a servant of the people. That is why I will wash them, bath them, I will do whatever because it's in me. The diaspora has taught me one thing. Every job matters. Because if every job never mattered, you wouldn't be there kneeling down every election time and saying you want to be the member of parliament from cleaners. Because majority of people in those compounds, they work as maids. Majority of them work as garden boys. Majority of them don't do jobs that are office jobs. So you're insulting them, you're insulting me. But for me, I've lowered myself to do any job. Yeah. Now, if you don't care about those people, why do you beg for votes? It's because you know every vote matters. How come you don't go kneeling down in Kablonga? How come you don't go kneeling down in Chadley, asking the Chadley people for votes? They don't have time to queue up. They'll queue up anytime. I know people who are wealthy in Zambia, who are successful, who don't even vote. Why should I vote? It's the same thing all the time. People are struggling. So I would rather focus on my business. And many of them are business-minded people who are doing so well. They don't want to be involved because they don't want anybody to destroy their businesses. So they support us even in the background, and you're not even aware. As for Monali constituency, Madam, you have failed. And believe you me,
yes, you have.
Don't stand a chance. So I am begging you, it will be a very dignifying for you to leave Monali constituency whilst people are clapping. Leave the stage whilst people are still clapping than you embarrassing yourself. This is just the truth. Lilian Mutambo on the ballot paper and Madam Kandolo on the ballot paper, it will be a clean game.
She's very confident, that's for sure. And there's no reason she shouldn't be. Listen. She's very confident that she will win this. If she doesn't win, why wouldn't she win? I ask you that question. Why wouldn't this young lady win and become an MP? I see every reason on the planet for her to become the MP of Monali. If she doesn't win, why would she not win? Does that mean you think Miss Nkanduluo would give you a better life than she can? Is that it? Do you think that Miss Nkanduluo has been in government for over 30 years and you have richly benefited from her presence in government, and now you want more of her in government? Is that it? To demean your job? To demean the job that feeds your children? To essentially imply that you are nothing? And when she goes back there, you give her your vote, and she goes back there, you never see her again. Is that what you want? Is that what you, the people of Monali, and in general the people of Zambia, is that what you want? And if it is, why do you want that? Why do you want to deprive yourself of your God-given rights by the natural laws of nature? You are entitled to what we are all entitled to, what Zambia has, the riches, the wealth of our land, by the natural law of nature itself. We are endowed with the entitlement to that which is God-given to us. That's our riches, our copper, our gold. But instead of that, instead of you being rich, you are supposed to be rich. Every one of us is supposed to be rich. Instead of that, they take almost 40%, 37.5% of your income. If you work, that is, if you are lucky enough to be working, they take 37.5% of your income, and then everything you buy, they take 16% of your income. 5% sales tax, 16% VAT. Wherever you go, you pay toll fees. You buy gas, you pay road levy, transport levy, ERB levy, dealers levy. All that to the extent that over 65 to 70% of your income is taken by the government. And yet, you know that money that is taken from you never comes back to improve your life. It doesn't. Why do you want that to continue? Why do we want that to continue? Because this continues in the mindset of the poor people that are coming to you right now to ask you to vote. That's what is continuing this. The people of poor mindset who are coming to you right now, who are kneeling before you, so you can give them your vote because they given you 50 kwacha or chitenge or whatever it is. That's what it is. Why do you want that to continue? Why? Ubuteko Temushi is not like a village. Ubuteko. Yes, modern government is not a chiefdom. It's a Western style government. Basungu baletele. Elonga twali busumina. Ati basungu bifine batushira evo twalaigala. Kuteka ngefyo kusambiro kuteka obuteko ngefyo abasungu abene baleteka. Zambia was more developed in 1964 than it is today. Why do I say that? It had industries. It has industries all over Zambia. Industries. There were more jobs than you can imagine, than you could imagine, than we had the number of people for. And now the population has grown. Then we get more labor. We can't continue to produce. There's no wealth created in Zambia. Amba malls, what are those malls? Those malls are not ours. They are foreign. They belong to foreigners. Which means we are not producing anything in Zambia. Which means we are not creating any new wealth in Zambia. The only natural source of wealth that we have is copper and all these minerals. They are going out free. They're being taken for free. Essentially, for free. What are we? Why do we allow this? Why do we allow this?
Because people are tired of politics, of lies. And what I do, empowering people, is not something that I have learned today because I want to be a politician. No. This is what we do in Britain, empowering people. But it's individual, because the government spares thousands of pounds per person. Umuntu wapena ku UK, government imuripira, I'm saying this in Bemba because Shefa won't find. Government ibaripira 5,000 pounds per week. Per week. Mm-hmm. And that is the money that your ministers use today to splash per week. One person. 5,000 pounds.
In case you don't understand what that means, she just said, umuntu wapena 5,000 pounds per week. That is not unique to the Great Britain, to the United Kingdom. It is not unique to the United Kingdom. It is also in the United States. It is also in Australia. It is in all these developed countries. Because umuntu wapena, they never chose that fate. You cannot really get that life to misery, to destitution, you cannot throw away that life. And this is a decision societies have made. The Western societies have made a decision, a moral decision, that as a society we cannot throw away a life because of a mental issue. Therefore, They are consigned to care 24 hours. Since they cannot take care of themselves, they have to be, society has to take care of them. Society. And I'm not saying government. Watch my words very carefully. I'm not saying government has to take care of it. No, I'm saying society has decided to take care of those people. Government is a creation of society. It's a machination through which society acts. That's what government is. Government is not just that, not something. It's just a machination through which society's will is expressed. And society has determined that we have to take care of individuals that are mentally ill. And through the laws that are passed by the representation of society's people, the representation of the people in parliaments, it is decided we are going to be spending on each one of these people so much money. What is that money for? You might ask, how are those people going to enjoy that money? They may not enjoy that money, but that money goes to taking care of them 24/7. Someone who makes sure that they are fed, they are accommodated, they have good accommodation, they sleep in a good bed, they are well fed. Whatever entertainment they can have, they have it, regardless of how limited their mental capacity is. Because who are we to say that God created that life for nothing? Who are you and me to say that God created that life to be consigned to the trash bin? We are not qualified to say that. Therefore, for whatever purpose the divine providence brought about that life, society has the responsibility to take care of it to whatever end. That explains the amount of money that goes into that. These things, some of these things, they are sacred. Some of these things are sacred in society. You do not know what the purpose of that life is. You don't know. At least somebody who's sane and cogent in their faculties can tell you what their purpose is. I want to do this and this and this and this before I die. Think about that. And then think about what Madam Ngandulu was saying. Serious stuff, guys. Serious stuff.
I'm going to calculate this. 5,000 times. This is not a lie. I just can't mention the names of the hospitals, but I've worked for mental hospitals where we're looking after a person 24 hours. Each person receives 24-hour care. Yesterday, I went to Levi Mwanawasa Hospital. I was in shock. The building looks beautiful outside, but the inside is pathetic. I was disgusted. Go to any British hospital. The hospitals were built in the 19 Pendef Condo, centuries ago. Clean. Left, right, and center. I can clean their hospital any day. As a job, I'll be running. When the agency calls me, there's a job going, I will run because the hospitals are clean. I went to Levi Mwanawasa yesterday to check up on the young man that was stabbed 3 times on the head here, on the back, all over. Oh my goodness. The floor, and they said the hospital is how many years? 8, 10 years. The building was built cheaply. I'm giving you a task. Anybody who's in Europe, Send me pictures. Show them pictures of even Royal Berkshire Hospital. Iyamu 1819.
Let me interrupt here because I have decided to honor her request because I've been there. Okay? And I'm going to show you pictures of what a hospital looks like. These are real pictures. These are pictures that I took when I was there. I'm going to show you. And then you decide for yourself what a hospital should look like. And then you decide, you might think, I don't want your reaction to be, well, that was in the United States. This is Zambia. That would be a foolish way of thinking. I'm telling you the truth. If you think like that, then you don't know what is good for you. You can't think like, you cannot afford to think that way with giant copper mines in your backyard. What kind of thinking is that? Giant copper mines are sitting in our backyard and they are going out. It's going out. Copper is going out of the country. It's going out. She's talking about Britain, which has no copper reserves, giant copper reserves, no gold, no platinum, no other thing. They just have some coal. So I'm going to show you a hospital. This is a hospital in the eastern United States. And you can go and do your comparisons. You know, that is a ward for one patient. What you're looking at is a ward for one patient. I have been in that room. That's a ward for one patient. That bed is even a little bit smaller. They get bigger than that depending on what the patient is. Depending on the needs of the patient, not to say depending on what patient is, because there's no discrimination between a secretary of state or a minister or somebody. They all get the same treatment. Maybe presidential or stuff like that. Sure, they have their own thing. It's a president. But for every citizen that is left there, that's the admission ward. Take a look. Depending on how long, the rooms vary a little bit here and there, depending on how long you are going to stay in the hospital and all that. But the quality of the room, that's the quality of the room. This, that's a hospital ward for one patient. You get admitted to the hospital, one patient. That is your admission room. That it's not fun. It's not a joke. Now you think about Levi Mwana Wasa, and then you can argue that Levi Mwana Wasa is something, because we jump over nothing. Sometimes we jump over nothing. We celebrate mediocrity sometimes, and yet we have so much wealth that we could be this. A person coming from some village could be admitted to this. Hold on, show another one. That's a hospital ward for one person. Everything needed to take care of this patient is in this room. They are not going to go out of this room to go and be looking for oxygen. They won't be going out of this room to go and be looking for whatever. Perhaps only an X-ray machine, because it's too big to house an X-ray machine, and every patient doesn't need an X-ray. There's a special X-ray, facilities. So you can't have X-rays in every ward. But everything that a nurse or a doctor comes in for this patient is in this room. the oxygen hookups are in this room. Emergency staff is in this room. That bed changes positions in like, I don't know, 20 positions, whichever makes the patient comfortable. A patient lies in there with a controller in their hand, lying down with a controller in their hand. At the press of a button, a nurse comes in. Not a nurse I say like fish mlefa. No, a nurse comes in. Oh, you need something? Oh, caring nurses. There's a TV in there, all channels. If you're feeling well enough, you can watch some TV. You can order lunch from that day, right here. Order lunch, they bring in lunch, food, and bring it right there. That's there. That's one room. Those seats, and everything, if you have visitors, that's their seat. That seat you see over there turns into a bed. I'm just showing you guys something. This bed, this seat right here you see here, this turns into a bed. And if you have somebody, a relative, or your husband or your wife wants to stay over, they can stay right here. This turns into a bed, and in these drawers right in there are bed sheets and everything you need to sleep in here. Bed sheets, blankets, and everything you need to sleep in here with your loved one. The question is, do we want to get to this? Or is your answer, it's impossible? Why is it not possible? Is it because we have decided that the only people we are going to have in government are fools? Is that it? If not, why, guys? Why? Why can't we get to this? Why can't we get to this? We have billions of dollars going out of the country in copper. Billions. Untaxed, virtually untaxed. Leaving the country. And yet we say we can't get to this. Why can't we get to this? Is that what we need to believe, all of us, as a collective, as a society? Is that what we need to believe? And I will tell you something. If it is a question of wherever there is an opportunity, ndefo kuliamo. Uli hapa, ndefo kuliamo. Uli hapa, ndefo kuliamo. Well, then the truth is, we may not get there. Because that's a mentality of corruption. As long as we support that mentality from the very roots, we can't get there. Because it means we feed that corruption. Society itself feeds the corruption. So it won't see much of anything wrong in any leader who is in government, who is supposed to be their servant. They're misusing their resources wantonly. If that is the case, we will never get to this. No, we won't. I want to end this. If you want to watch the rest of this discourse by this young lady, go to her Facebook and look at it. Watch the rest of it. Because it's a little too long for me to go through. But I wanted to make some comments, because has gone on for now over an hour, so I cannot continue. But I wanted you to to show you something else. Something she mentioned something earlier about Mr. Boma Lusaka looking like, Dubai, and she made a comment in there. It's pathetic. Sometimes you go into the city, you think, where is the city? Are we in the city now? There's a smell coming from all over the place. True. But you don't know what you want. You don't know what you can be. If we don't know what we can be, we can never get there. Anybody can tell us, oh, this is something. Buy like a bridge. It's silly thing. It's the congestion project. Ridiculous thing. You go on it for 2 or 3 kilometers. Wow, this is like Dubai. I want you to see this. And this is just to open some minds. I don't like to do this. That was the hospital. But I want you to take a look at this. This is on the East Coast. This is a bridge. I believe it goes over water, but this is the kind of infrastructure that you think of in a developed world. Let me play this, and you can judge for yourself. You can look at it. You can take a look at this, that, and you judge for yourself whether or not this is not anything significant, or this is nothing. This highway there, this is a bridge, and you will see shortly how it is. This is on the East Coast of the United States. Now, in case you are wondering who's driving, I am. So, the president of Zambia just opened a 2 or 3 mile bridge, and we call it development. Overpriced. Going nowhere. It just takes you from here to here, within the city. Look at that. That's a bridge. Now, we don't have any bodies of water, but that is infrastructure of a serious country. That is infrastructure of a serious country. It's not infrastructure developed to earn your vote. No. It is infrastructure developed because society has decided that they need it. I want you to understand my words very carefully. This is infrastructure developed because society has decided that we need it. Every society is defined by how it treats the vulnerable. Otherwise, the main message to get from here, I can help to make some other comments, because there are a lot of things that are affecting our country. So much that is not understood, so much that is taken for granted, so many lies. People are so much lied to. This Lilian Mutambo, he's bringing a different mentality, a mentality of how the government should be run. How a government should be run. That's her message. and that this message is very powerful. I encourage you to go and watch this video and finish it. It's one of the best videos she's made yet to date, in my opinion. This is one of the best messages videos she has made. So, guys, those were my comments for tonight, and I wish everybody a very good day. And please, if you like what you hear today, subscribe to my channel. We are Ntanchibantu. Progress is in the hands of the people. And subscribe and turn on your notification, and so when I make some more videos, you will be notified. So I hope to see you guys again very, very soon. Okay, fellow Zambians, have a good one.